Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to this broadcast. My name is Gobind, and this is your Channel for Grace. Thank you guys for being here live, and thank you to those of you that are watching the replay or rewatching your reading. I'm very excited. Happy Friday the 13th. There's a lot going on in the astrology. There's a lot going on in the world, and I know that a lot of us are needing some guidance. So I am live here tonight, and I am doing this broadcast every Friday. Live mini readings for $25. To get on the list, send $25 to my PayPal link, which is in the description of this video. And we already have 4 people on the list, so if you haven't gotten on the list, make sure you do. I think I usually cap it around 11 people. But let's see who's in the chat. We've got Janice, welcome in. We've got Cole, how's it going? Christina G, hello. Alexa, hello. I got your little message, your email message. Els, Michelle, welcome. As a general rule, I hate Friday the 13th, but that's only because so many times a relative of mine has shortly after. Well, that sucks. Hey, Wendy, how's it going? Welcome in. So, the list is open, you guys. I do have really, really awesome announcements to make. 2 specifically, but let me just make sure that I don't miss anything. So I'm going to pull up my description because everything is in the description of the video. So we're doing readings tonight. I'm really excited about that. The link is there to sign up if you want to sign up and get on the list. We've already got 4 people on the list for tonight. So here's one of the really cool announcements I'm going to make. And it is that since I'm doing this mini reading every Friday, I am going to, every time people sign up, I'm going to put your name in a jar for a monthly giveaway. And every month, once a month, I'll give away a free reading. It's either going to be tarot or astrology, or it's going to be a transit reading. It'll change every month. The giveaway will change every month. But I'm going to start doing that every month. So if you actually got a reading from me last week, your name's going to go in that bucket. And so it'll start with last week's people, and then we'll add this week's people. And let's see, how many more Fridays do we have? We have literally 2 more Fridays in this month. So it's like perfect. It's like March. All of the March readings, all of the March people are going to go into the drawing, and I'll do the drawing like on April 1st or something like that. That is going to be really, really exciting. So make sure that, and if you get more than 1 reading, throughout the month, your name's going to go in that jar twice, or however many readings you get. Sounds good? I'm really excited about that. And then the other reading, you guys, I have been looking at the astrology for basically the next 3 months. And this 3-month period, which is basically the spring season, is insane when it comes to astrology. There are so many crazy things. I can't even, somehow it has to be shared. And I was going to do individual videos for the spring, but that would have just taken way too long. And the amount of information that I have to share is going to take about probably like 2 hours. So I couldn't do that for like each individual video. But what I did figure out that I'm really excited about is that I'm going to have a special spring 2020 webinar. And the cool thing about it is that I'm actually going to pull up, I have it all ready to go. You can actually literally sign up already. You can go to my website, channelforgrace.guru, or you can click the link in the description of the video. But basically, it will take you to a page that is the page to sign up for the webinar. So the webinar is basically going to be, I think, 2 hours. It'll probably go longer than 2 hours, but it'll happen on March 28th, and it'll be at 6 p.m. So that's like in a couple of weeks, I think. Yeah, it's like in a couple of weeks and a day. So you have time to sign up for it, and I have time to get ready for it. Like I said, we have tons of information. But let me tell you why the season of spring is crazy and why I'm doing this webinar. And I think I'm going to do it every beginning of the season. So we'll do one now for the spring, and then in the summer, we'll do another one. So basically, it'll happen on Zoom. So it'll be a Zoom webinar, and it's only going to be $15, you guys. Literally just $15. It's like kind of like the cover charge or something. Like, get your tickets now. But here's what's going on. So the astrology for the next 3 months is massive. We will cover all the major transits that are happening for the next 3 months, and I'm going to show you charts just like I normally show you charts. We're going to talk about specifically the Jupiter-Pluto conjunctions. The Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, hey Lindsay, it's happening 3 times this year, once on April 4th, once on June 30th, and then once in November. So the time that I'm covering is going to be from the beginning of spring, which is March 19th. That's when the sun moves into Aries, until June 30th. So it's a little bit longer than the spring, but I want to do that because of basically that Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. It happens once at the beginning of the spring, and then it happens again at the end of the spring, beginning of the summer. So we're going to talk about that conjunction, what it means, and how it's going to affect all of us. The other thing I'm going to do for this webinar is I'm going to go through your sun sign and rising sign and give you insight into how the energies for the spring, so in a theme, there's a theme for all of us, but individually it's even more like specialized based on your sun sign and rising sign. So I'll give you insight into how the energies are affecting you based on those information. The other thing that's happening is in May, the nodes are literally switching signs. They usually in a sign for like 18 months. So now they're going to switch and they're going to move into Gemini and Sagittarius. So collectively, North Node in Gemini, South Node Sagittarius. We'll talk about what that means. It's huge. It's a huge shift. And it'll be basically like from then on where the eclipses are going to start happening in those signs for the next sort of year or so. But that's huge. The nodes changing signs is huge. So we'll talk about that as well, the significance of it. There's going to be a live chat. So you're going to get to ask questions in the chat, just like you would in a YouTube video. And then the other thing we'll talk about is Saturn moving into Aquarius. Now, Saturn is in a sign for a little over a year, I think. And he's been in Capricorn, in its home sign of Capricorn. But now he's going to move into the sign of Aquarius, which will completely shift the energy. Hey, Stacy. And we'll talk about what that means for us collectively and also what that means for your specific sign. And this is the craziest thing, okay? This is why you need to sign up for this thing. I'm not like selling it, but I'm just like, I wanted to figure out a way to get all this information out to everyone in a way that I mean, I'm spending so much time getting ready for it, but it is so important. There's literally going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 retrogrades in the next 3 months. No joke. 7 retrogrades. Pluto's going to go retrograde. Saturn's going to go retrograde. Venus is going to go retrograde. Jupiter's going to go retrograde. Mercury's going to go retrograde. And Neptune's going to go retrograde within the next 3 months. And we'll talk about what that means for us, because it's insanity. And then, of course, you'll get a replay link, which will be an unlisted YouTube video. And I think once it's over, if you didn't get to watch the the live, I'll sell the replay video for a little bit less. I know. It's insane. It's insane. How many are typical? Not that many in a 3-month period. I can tell you that. We've had, think about it. Like, the planets were direct for the longest time, maybe like a month or maybe a couple months or so. And then one planet, Mercury, went retrograde. And now all the planets are direct, and they're going to be direct for a while. So we're talking months of planets being direct, and now all of a sudden, boom. It's due. It's due for a retrograde. Everybody's due for a retrograde. So it's going to be major for all of us. But there's so much details and information there that I had to kind of put it all together. So we're going to do it in a webinar form, and it's going to be $15 to sign up. And all you have to do to sign up is there's a link in the description, or just go to my website and you'll get, there'll be a tab for it. So, yes, insanity, yes. So those were the 2 announcements. There's other cool things going on. I am doing this every Friday, which is really exciting. And like I said, there's going to be a monthly giveaway. You can also sign up for my newsletter, where by subscribing, you get my free moon astrology guide. And then I send you a once a week moon magic report along with transit emails. So in the next one I'm going to send, I believe, is Saturn moving into Aquarius. I'm going to send an email of how that's affecting you in your own chart based on your sun sign and rising sign. And so I send those periodically when those major events happen. But to get a whole picture thing, the webinar is going to be it. And check out my online courses. I have Woman and the Moon online course available. And if you want to book a tarot or astrology reading with me, you can do that on my website. And you guys, like, things are crazy right now. I guess we always knew 2020 was going to be big. Yeah, it's a major transitional period. I mean, can you tell? Like, crazy things are happening. Crazy things are happening. Thanks, Stacey. I appreciate that. So we've got 4 people on the list. If you want to get on the list, make sure you do that soon. The first person on the list is Elizabeth Michelle. That's you're here. So are you ready for your reading? I love them too, you guys, and I love writing the newsletters as well. Will you remind me? I have your chart, but will you remind me what exactly you wanted to know about your chart? Let me connect the iPad. Oh, wow, that's crazy. Very crazy. Okay. Yeah, you wanted to have a reading about like what I see in the chart just in general. I remember now. Okay. Let me make sure this gets set up. I got your donation, Lindsay, so I'm going to put you on the list. And remember, if you sign up, your name's going to go in the monthly drawing. And thank you, Wendy. And hey, Deidre, how's it going? Okie dokie. Let's transition screens. There it is. Okay, now you should be able to see your charts, Michelle. Elizabeth Michelle. Me too. Me too. I'm really happy it's Friday too. Okay, so let's take a look at this chart. So basically, one thing I didn't mention is if you do want to get a reading tonight, it can either be a transit reading like the one I'm about to do. I can look at your natal chart, or I can do tarot and oracle, like whatever of the three you choose. Thanks, Lindsay, for signing up for the webinar. Yay! We got our first sign up for the webinar. Dun, 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 dun. I love my computer and my phone are all connected and I get all these like notifications. All right, here we go. And Deidre, my dear, you have the blue wrench. I don't know if you noticed. So let's take a look at this. You, in your natal chart, you've got a Pisces stellium. You've also got an Aries stellium. You've got North Node Taurus, South Node Scorpio. Oh, in the 12th and 6th houses. That's interesting. Let's see what else we got here. Pisces Sun, Gemini Rising, Moon in Sagittarius, Venus in Aquarius in the 9th house. It was actually when you sent me when you sent me the message or the payment and you left me that little note, I looked at it and I was like, what was it that was so significant? And there was one thing. Okay, bye Alexa. There was one thing that I want to definitely talk about because it's like screaming out at me. Okay, so first of all, because you've got that Gemini rising, your 8th house is Capricorn. And Capricorn is where, the big planets, Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn are. Your 8th house was the place where the Saturn-Pluto conjunction happened. And the 8th house is the house of change and transformation. So for the last year and into this next year, basically like a major theme for you has been major shift and change in your life. Deaths that lead to rebirths, diving into the occult, right? The 8th house is also kind of like the underground or the mysteries, or we're not, it's the hidden things. It also has to do with money, but like with other people's money, inheritances and things like that. So the fact that the Saturn-Pluto conjunction is happening in your 8th house, and the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction will also be happening in your 8th house, that means that this has been and will continue to be a major theme in your life for, pretty much for the rest of 2020. So what does that mean? That means that, for this, these next months, this next year, in your life, you're going to see those big shifts and those big changes. And it's going to feel like the power of the power to transform, or the power of the universe to like help you get through those tough places and get to the other side is going to get stronger and stronger. So awesome, Janice. I'll go in and check that out. So unless if you resist changes in your life, it'll be really difficult, because the 8th house is basically the Tower card. And we all know that if you get the Tower card in tarot, the message is this could be really difficult if you resist it. Or it could be more, you could go through the shift and the change with more grace if you allow it, if you don't resist it. So make sure that when things come up in your life, that you're just letting them flow, that you're letting them move. Now, here's the other thing. So we all know too that Saturn is about to move into Aquarius. Now you've got Aquarius at the cusp of your 9th house. And the 9th house is all about spiritual integration. Saturn is at 29 degrees right now. This goes for everybody. I need to make sure Dawn knows I'm live. So basically, Saturn is going to move into Aquarius, and he's at 29 degrees, which means that it's very intense right now. Saturn, okay, any planet at 29 degrees, the last three, 27, 28, and 29 degrees, are really intense degrees. So it's like, it's almost like, what do we call it? It's like crunch time. You had all this time to do the work, or to really figure out your ambitions. Saturn did get humbled by Pluto with the conjunction, and so he's learning a new way of being, but he's also kind of freaking out because he's about to leave his ruling sign. So this time can feel really like intense. But when Saturn moves into Aquarius, he's going to actually move into your 9th house of spiritual integration. And that's significant because Saturn in the 9th house Saturn represents like the teacher. He also represents authority. Saturn in the 9th house can be, you might meet a teacher, right? You might find your teacher. And that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to find a guru or a spiritual teacher. It's almost like the teacher will come to you. And because you've got all this 8th house stuff, it might come to you in a way that you didn't expect. So 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. But it might come to you in a way that you didn't expect. And then Saturn in Aquarius for you is going to be he's going to be transiting your 9th house for like over a year. He will actually go back into Capricorn and then come back into Aquarius. And then in December, I think 14th, Jupiter and Saturn are going to both move into Aquarius together at 0 degrees in conjunct. That's the beginning of the age of Aquarius. That's like the official date. During that time, we're going to have some pretty big eclipses in the sky too. And it's the solstice, right? So basically, when Saturn goes into Aquarius, like, and officially kind of stays there, for you, this is going to mean spiritual shifts, spiritual changes in your life. This is powerful stuff. This is powerful stuff. It's similar to pretty much anybody that has a Gemini rising. That's kind of how it works. So that is the message that the chart wanted to give you. That's the thing that like really jumped out at me, and major stuff. And it's like, this is like the next year or so of your life, and the last year. So yeah, thank you, Wendy. I appreciate that. Yes, we're gonna have a spring webinar, and you can sign up on my website or by clicking that link. Hey Wolfstar, welcome. I've been working. Yeah, you're welcome. So awesome. So the next person on the list is Micah. Micah, are you in here? I don't think you left a note for me in PayPal, so you have to tell me what you want, what kind of reading you want, and give me all your information. Give me all your information, and then we'll get going. Oh, it's okay. You're here. You're perfect timing. I am going to, while you're putting up your question and stuff and what you want, I am going to go back into PayPal and check out who's signed up. Okay, so I see... By the way, the list is Elizabeth, which we just did, Micah, Christina G, Stacy, then it's Janice P, and then it's Lindsay G. You mean a transit reading? You have to, well, I guess I can see if I saved your information. Did I do a transit reading for you before? No, I don't think so. So, what I need you to do is give me your information. Let's not bore you guys with all that nonsense. So what I'll need from you is basically your birth dates, the time you were born, and the location, city, states, and we can do your transit reading, which I'm assuming is what you're wanting. Thank you guys for being here, by the way. I appreciate it. I am so freaking excited about the webinar. Oh my God. Dude, it's insane. It's insane. If you missed my announcement for it, like definitely rewind when we're done and watch the first part. Plus, if you get a reading tonight, you'll get entered to win a free reading from me that I'm going to do this drawing once a month. All right, Micah. Christina G, did you know what you want, what kind of reading you want to get? Actually, just so I can write it down, will you guys tell me what reading? Yeah, I love that, Wendy. So Christina G, Stacy R, Janice P, and Lindsay G. Will you tell me right now what kind of reading you want, so I can just make a note while we get Micah's question? So the transit reading tells us what's happening now, whereas the birth chart is like what you were born with, right? Correct. Messages for coming from me. Okay, Christina wants tarot. Yeah, just so I can make a little note for myself here. And yeah, when, you know, just have your question. If you have tarot, just have your question ready. If you want a transit or a natal chart reading, have your info ready so you can just copy and paste it into the chat. I don't know what happened to Micah. Did you mean tarot or transit reading, Micah? Because it's spelled, you said I would like a tangent reading and it doesn't make any sense. Stacy wants tarot oracle. Oh yes, I remember you, I remember your email. I got it. I saw it. Janice, what kind of reading do you want? And then Lindsay, I guess you're trying to decide. For the transit reading, it is really important that you do have the time that you were born. Lord, have mercy on me. Do you mean a transit reading, my dear Micah? So, if you want an astrology reading, I need your date of birth, the time you were born, the location, the city, and the state. Exact time, exact date, and city, state. Lindsay says, okay, you're trying to say, that's fine. We're a few people away. Okay, here we go. September 1st, 1970. And you were born at 6:32 a.m. Where? It'll be a lot faster if you guys have all of that in one little thing saved. So when it's your turn, you can just pop it up there. Okay, I am. Make sure I got it right. September 1st, 1970, 6:32 a.m. in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And you want a transit reading, is that correct? Because it keeps saying tangent. Okay, I'm just assuming it's tangent. All right. I mean transit. That's fucking hilarious. All right, here's your tangent reading. I'm just kidding. I'm making fun of myself. Let's take a picture of this and then go to the picture and then pop it up on the screen for you guys. I'm ridiculous, okay? Like, please don't take offense to me. I'm ridiculous. Just FYI, okay? I'm obnoxious, and I like making jokes, and I love you. But I'm obnoxious, okay? All right, so here we go. It's okay, Micah. It's okay. I realize I'm like, oh my God, she's going to get pissed off. So here it is. We got it. We got your chart up. We got it all set up. Now let's talk about what we can see. So Janice, I'm assuming that means you want a natal reading. But you'll have to put that up there again, Janice, when it's your turn. Okay, we're going to do one at a time. All right, so let's see what we got here. Whoa, you got a lot of Virgo placements. Look at that. You got Sun in Virgo, Moon in Virgo, Virgo rising, Saham, South Node Virgo, ooh, North Node Pisces, Pluto in Virgo, and Mercury in Virgo. That's a lot of Virgo. You and Valerie would probably get along. So let's see. What's significant that is transiting your chart? How old are you, Micah? How old are you, Micah? Because honestly, so are you close to 50? Like not quite there yet? I don't, do, okay, close to, okay, there you go. So here's what I'm going to talk to you about, because there is a major life cycle that you're about to embark on. When we turn 50, you see this little planet right here? Well, his name is Chiron, and we call him the wounded healer. He teaches us how to heal. So we come into the world with sort of something that we need to work on. Chiron in Aries is like having a crisis over your identity. It's like you come into the world and the things that you need to discover for yourself is who am I? What does the world want from me? What am I supposed to do here? Who am I? What is this? Those are the major, we don't do math. Those are the major life questions that come up for you as a theme for your whole life. You are trying to heal your relationship with yourself, and you're trying to understand who you are. Now, when we turn 50 years old, What happens is Chiron travels all the way. It takes it a long time, right? It travels all the way around, and then it comes right back to the position that it was in when you were born. So this is your Chiron, and this is Chiron right now. Chiron right now is at 4 degrees. Your Chiron is at 9 degrees, and it's retrograde. So you're getting close to your Chiron return, where literally it'll like be in one line. It's almost there. What does that mean? Chiron return is a major cycle of basically, and it's happening in your 8th house, basically the full maturity or the full spiritual like realization or maturity. You get to a point in your life where you're like, I finally know who I am. With the theme of Chiron and Aries for you, it's I finally know who I am. So this year, when you turned 50, right? Not this year, but when you're approaching this phase, right? So a lot of the changes that are going to be happening right now are you're gonna be discovering a new way to get to know yourself, and a new way to actually express yourself. Because when you look over here in your 5th house and you've got all that Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, conjunctions going on, South Node, Mars, this is about your creativity being completely transformed. So as you move into your Chiron return, which is this major life cycle in your life, the universe is asking you to transform the way that you express yourself to the world. You're not going to do it in the ways that you used to do it before. You're going to do it in a completely new way. And it's going to feel amazing, because it is not a negative life cycle. It is one of those life cycles where you finally get the answers that you were looking for. And so discovering yourself is a big part of your healing process in this life. And that's the major thing. I mean, that's huge. It's huge. Major life cycle, I mean, it only happens once in a lifetime, right? Unless you live to be over 100 and then you have a second Chiron return. But can you imagine that? You're like 100, you're like, second Chiron return, like, boom, I'm flying now. But that's what happens. So basically, that's amazing. Let's see if there's anything else that jumps out at me. Yes, usually intuitively, Deidre, usually, I know, right? Usually intuitively, we feel something's going on. We're not sure what it is, but that's why astrology is so cool, because it helps you understand and see that bigger picture of like, oh, that's what's going on. And then when you understand, it's like you like relax a little bit. You kind of like open the door, you let it come in. You know what I mean? You let the energy come in and you surrender to the change or the shift. So that's all that's jumping out at me right now for you, Micah. But it's also like pretty big deal, pretty huge deal. So thank you. So next is Christina G. And I know you wanted tarot. Just want to make sure. Do you want just general? What's coming in new for me? Okay, so we're going to go to Christina G, and we're going to do this tarot reading for her. Thank you guys for being here, by the way. Now I did not, what I do want to do is I'm going to You're welcome, Micah. Yeah, so major themes happening right now for all of us. Major stuff. That's why mostly like talking in big themes, because there's no other way around it. Thank you, spirit guides, angels, teachers. Please help clear the energy of the cards that I'm going to be using, as well as my energy, so we can get some clear messages out to everybody that is requesting a tarot oracle reading. So what I want to know is, what is coming up for Christina G? What does she need to know about her life right now? What can help her in her life? That just seems a little barbaric that all these cards just flew out, but let's go with it. Okay. You have a few major arcana cards just right away. Perspective, oppression, and the Tower. So those are big themes in your reading. But let me tell you in order what I'm seeing right now. Are you in like, I think you are, like twin flame or soulmate relationship? Have you gotten readings before? I think you have, like maybe from Jason or something like that, because that's kind of what I'm seeing in this reading, that this has to do with like a romantic or like soul connection. I'm great, Noelle. How are you? Thank you for being here. So we start, okay. So that's what's coming out in the cards. We get the King of Cups, and he has 2 cups in his hands. So let's just start with the first card. The first card you get is the King of Swords. Whenever I see kings and queen cards, you actually got 3 king cards, which is kind of interesting. The kings and the queens have mastered the element that they are that they represent. King of Swords represents the element of air, and so that is the mind. So it's almost like there is a neutrality that's being activated, a way to see things very clearly. That's what I'm getting. It is I feel like this kind of represents where you're at. I feel like you're kind of stepping into a place of more clarity over the whole situation. Now, the King of Cups has mastered his emotions. And then you see the 2 cups here. So he has been able to not only master his emotions, but basically mastering the emotions is not necessarily controlling the emotions. It's just having an awareness where you finally find balance in yourself. So when you see the 2 cups, that represents like a love, a romantic relationship. Also, it represents balance. So it's like the scale, right? The scale is getting balanced. You're looking at both sides of the equation. You're looking at I feel you looking at 2 different perspectives. Now, does this mean maybe there's another person you might be thinking about? I don't know. Maybe. Does it feel like, when I say the words and when we talk about the meaning of the card, like what comes up for you? What is your own personal experience of it? I feel like what you're doing is gaining this like bigger perspective. This is the perspective card. You're getting a wider perspective of what's going on. And I think what you're seeing, you might not like what you're seeing in a weird way, because you get the 5 of Pentacles or the 5 of Crystals. And this card, basically represents like the beggar. It represents someone who is lonely, maybe sick, maybe destitute. It can represent like spiritual impoverishment. So what you're seeing is that on one side of the equation, you have this choice, which is to go in a way where, you know, it'll be healthy for you. And then on the other side, you have this other sort of vision, or not a prediction, but like a vision or a image of what's going on the other side. And it is spiritual impoverishment. And this could be that, you know, your other half, or the other person that this reading is involving, is in this place of spiritual impoverishment. And so when you look at this, it's almost like, yes, it gives you clarity, but at the same time, it also makes you feel like, wow, that's actually kind of sad that that's like the state of affairs. So you're coming in wanting clarity of mind. You're looking at two different options here. You're seeing both sides of the equation. You're trying to balance yourself. This bigger perspective that you're getting on life is helping you see what's really going on. And the Five of Crystals, the card of spiritual impoverishment, could be maybe you're feeling that, you know, this other person, that's where they're at, and it's a kind of a sad thing. Or it could be maybe you're realizing that in order to really move forward, you're going to have to get out of this funk. You're going to have to get out of this place where you feel that like lack mentality, because spiritual impoverishment is basically lack mentality. When you're spiritually strong, you're confident in yourself, you feel good about yourself. So it could also be that you're feeling this way about yourself, and you're seeing it now for the first time. So what can you do to like get out of this energy or get out of the funk? Now, the King of Wands, he's the fire element. So he represents the master of his desires. You have to acknowledge what those deep desires are. Because when we kind of go through life and we don't acknowledge that there are certain things that we really, truly, deeply want, if we ignore them, if we've walked away from something and at one point we really wanted it, if we don't acknowledge that desire, it's just going to kind of stay there and like linger and make it difficult to move on. We have to allow ourselves to mourn the loss of people that we've had to let go of. I literally saw that on Facebook today. It was a meme, but we have to allow ourselves, give ourselves the time to mourn things that we've left behind because we've chosen to leave behind. So you have to acknowledge those things, and that's gonna take you into a place of a little bit of fear, a little bit of darkness, a little bit of, or maybe a lot. You are going to be taking the veil off. You are taking the veil off. And you're going to see yourself in a different light. And when you do that, you're going to understand where it is that you need to take your life from this point forward. And the card that you get is the Ace of Crystals. Sorry, these cards are difficult to see because of my green screen. But the Ace of Crystals, or it is basically the Ace of Pentacles, which is a new beginning in good. It is a new beginning, a new abundant beginning for yourself. And then the Tower card. The Tower card is the last card. So this new beginning will start with a bang, kind of a thing. This new abundant beginning, this new like creation. The Pentacles is the earth element, so it's creativity, it's bringing to fruition things that you want in your life. What you're wanting, once you face those desires and once you let go and once you release, fully release, then you're going to go in a new path, and the path is going to be one of abundance, but it will start with a bang because it'll sort of shake the ground from underneath you and create a whole new, because you think of the earth element and you think of the tower, it's like an earthquake, right? So it'll shake the ground underneath you, but it'll like literally release the last little bit of whatever was remaining that was not serving you, and then you'll be able to fully move forward, having fully let go, energetically let go of any past. So here's the the summary of it. You're getting a lot of clarity in your life. You're seeing that you have these two ways of taking it. That's giving you a bigger perspective. You're learning how to balance yourself too. You're seeing that there might be some aspects of your life that are very much not in alignment. Even though you're moving in the right direction and you're excited, there are some things that are causing lack mentality. And so you have to address those things that you had to walk away from and mourn and allow yourself to mourn. Face those fears. And then when you do that, the Tower card will hit, but it won't be a bad thing. This isn't a negative thing. It's like a powerful shift that's happening for you in a really good direction. Because once you face your fears, you fully move forward. And I can feel it. Like, I feel the message when I'm talking to you. I feel that you are in a different space now than you were before. And that's kind of what I'm getting from the cards. So we're going to pull some Moonology cards for you to give you some advice. This is advice from the moon and how to deal with your emotions, because, you know, most of the time the emotions are the ones that are you face the emotion of something, and then you know what it is you're dealing with when you acknowledge the emotions. Hey Amber, welcome in. All right, one more card for Christina G. Well, two more came out. All right, so here we go. You've got, it's time to release negativity, full moon in Scorpio. You've got a new romantic cycle begins, new moon in Libra. I told you, there was something about one of these cards that's like something new is coming. Something new is coming. You and your loved ones are safe. New moon in Cancer. And new moon in Leo, confidence is your success. So I want to point something out. You've got one full moon card, right? Which literally is about releasing and letting go. Full moon's about releasing and letting go. It's time to release negativity. And then you get 3 new moon cards, which are all about new beginnings. So do you see what's going on? It's such a clear message. It's really beautiful, and I'm really excited for you. And I hope that resonated for you as well. And thank you. Thank you for signing up for a reading. So if you guys want to sign up for a reading, the list is still open. The next 3 people are Stacy, Janice, and Lindsay. So we're going to do Stacy next. And I think Stacy wanted tarot. And she also wants guidance from Spirit. You're welcome, Christina. Thanks, Deidre and Wendy, for moderating. I appreciate it. All right, so we're going to Stacy and what she's dealing with in her life. And I would like to ask for a message for Stacy and what's going on for her. What does she need to know? What new insight can she get to help her move forward in her life? We also get the Ace of Crystals to begin with. Seven of Swords. Page of Swords. It's a lot of swords. What else? What other messages does she need to hear? Whoa, chill out. Hang on, they all fell everywhere. Oops. Okay, we're gonna go with them because I feel like they're here for a reason. Okay. That's Seven of Swords, though. Wow, this is such an interesting message. Okay. So I'm just verifying. Make sure I don't miss anything. Okay. So the card that really stands out to me is the Seven of Swords. Like, hands down, I feel like that card is like screaming out at us. But we do start this message with the Ace of Crystals, which is a new beginning in the realm of creativity, a new beginning in the world of, finances, the earth element, building a new life, building something new. It's like that energy of Uranus and Taurus, because you're embarking on a new journey of creating something in your life. And I think the reason why this has been so difficult for you, and the Seven of Swords being here, which represents, it's like betrayal and unreliability. Your plans may have not been, they may have not come out as you wanted them. This could also mean that you are setting yourself up for failure, or you have been setting yourself up for failure in the past. So what I'm feeling is, and even when you sent me your email, I felt this energy of, it was like an uncomfortableness, it was an unsureness, it was a little bit of fear of the future, it was disappointment. And that's what I'm feeling is, it's coming through in these cards. You feel very disappointed. You feel very disappointed, but honestly, that you have to let that go. You have to move forward, because those kind of thoughts will only keep you in a space where it almost feels like it's almost like a trap, right? It's like you're trapping yourself into a certain way of thinking that is not good for you. And I think that's why that's the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is it's someone who's graceful, but the sword is the mind. So they represent physical and mental agility. And this is a message that's coming to you that could possibly be an upsetting message. But this card also represents perception, a new way of seeing. So the message is, you got to find a new way of seeing. You got to cut the rope. Cut the rope. Stop holding on to the past. So someone else here has had to release, you know what I mean? Like an old, relationship, and moved forward into a new one. And they feel really happy about it. I think that's what you need to embrace. You need to embrace the newness. You need to embrace a new path. Because if something is not working, it doesn't matter if it's a twin flame or a soulmate. It doesn't matter. Like, life is meant to be suffered. Life is meant to feel good. It's meant to, we're meant to enjoy. life and play like kids do. That's why we often say you have to find your inner child and like release your inner child, let yourself play more. So if we hold ourselves back, if we put all of these expectations on what life is supposed to be, especially with a specific someone, we are trapping ourselves. Right now, the reading is you have to untrap yourself. The other card that is, very interesting is the Four of Crystals, or the Four of Pentacles, which is the card of, it's almost like holding on so tight that you're so afraid to let go. You're so afraid to like release it that you hold on to it, and it creates more negativity. Literally what that card means. It's greed. But this isn't, I don't feel like this is a message of like greed, that you are greedy. I feel like you are holding on to something that needs to be like let go and released. The only way to do that is to go within, is to listen to the inner you, the higher self, the inner teacher, the Hierophant, the Ascended Master, your spirit guides, your angels, your teachers. These teachers, or this teacher specifically, the Hierophant, is here to teach you how to come back to yourself, come back to your higher self, and to not allow yourself to remain in one energy for longer than you have to, right? We don't want to remain in a certain energy or a certain way of being for longer than we have to. We totally get to experience it and feel it and process it. And when it's over, that's it. It's time to move on. Because at that point, after we've processed and felt it and dealt with it, if we keep going back to that, then that's us causing ourselves more and more pain. If you stick to this new beginning, if you focus on a new beginning for yourself, you will literally reap the rewards of that. And they are spiritual rewards. And you will find love in your life. Look at this, the Lover's card. It's coming. It's right there. But it's not until you do all this other work that it'll arrive. It was very interesting that card showed up. Very, very interesting. And the Nine of Wands is the last card you get. And this is about having strength through a tough time. You need to trust that you're prepared, that you're healthy, that you've got what it takes, that you're going to move towards victory. But you have to have the strength during this tough time. That's what the universe wants you to know. So we're going to pull some Moonology cards to give you some advice on how to deal with your emotions and all the emotions that come up with going through a transition like this. Thank you everybody for being here too. I appreciate it. Yeah, lighten it up, because I feel a lot of heaviness. There's no reason, don't do that to yourself right now. The whole world is going through massive transition. Like we have to stay strong. We have to do what we can to deal with it, to face it, and then to transmute it. Hey, Shannon. Welcome in. All right. These are so clear. Prosperity lies ahead. New moon in Taurus. Expect powerful change. New moon eclipse. Work through your fears. New moon in Scorpio. And what do you need to release? Waning moon. Now, the moon is actually waning right now. So this is a good question to journal. Hey, Valerie, what do you need to release? Ask yourself, what do I need to release? Hey, Michelle, that's major. That's a major question. You gotta, like, I would journal that about that one. Because the moon is actually waning right now, so you can connect to the energy of the moon and help it give you insight. Yes, that's what we do. That's what we do, because we connect to people. We're like connecting to people. So we have to somehow cut that cord. Somehow we have to let it go and release it. Move on. What did I do with my pencil? There it is. Okay, awesome. So, hey, Julene, welcome in, you guys. Thanks for coming in and hanging out. If you want to get on the list, the link is in the description. It's $25 to my PayPal, and you can choose astrology, transit, or tarot reading. We've got 3 more on the list: Janice P, Lindsay G, and Deidre. So Janice P, I think you wanted astrology. Oh, awesome. Thanks for doing that for me, Wendy. So we're going to pull up Janice's information. Nine 2061. You're good, Wendy. You're freaking good. 8:30 a.m. Manhattan. Okay. I'll see what I can find. So 9/20/61, 8:30 a.m. Manhattan, New York. Okay. Let me see. Let me just look at your chart real quick for a second. So the difference is natal or transit. We can do transit reading. Hey, everybody. Let me take a picture of this. Man, these are big things that are going on. Oh my God. It's wild. I know I made all of you guys moderators. You've all got the wrench now. Oh, I really wish my iPad would stop acting up and just give me the little thing. Oh, there it is. It like appears only when it wants to. Don has a new iPad. He's going to give it to me. And I'm so excited about it. Oh my God. The 3 amigas. Okay. All right. So here we go. Janice. This is your chart and the transits on top of your chart. You're welcome. Thank you very much. So you've got Sun in Virgo, Aries rising, Moon in Aquarius, Venus in Leo. Have you ever looked at your natal chart? Just curious. North Node Leo, that's interesting. South Node Aquarius. Okay, I'm gonna talk about two things that I see here. The first one is Uranus in Taurus and Venus in Taurus transiting your 7th house. So right now, Venus rules Taurus, and she rules the 7th house. And the fact that she's transiting your 7th house right now, this is like a beautiful time for expressing, sensuality and beauty in your life when it comes to your relationships. This is a beautiful placement. The other thing is Uranus transiting your 7th house, Uranus is in a sign for years. It's like years. It's one of the outer planets, so it's one of the generational planets. So he'll be transiting your 7th house for a while. This is transforming your relationships. So a big part of what you're experiencing in your life is a big transformation when it comes to relationships, finding new ways to be in relationship and to build relationships that last, that are stable. That's a big theme for you right now. The other one is, if we look at, the Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter conjunction, this is happening in the 4th house of the home for you. And believe it or not, you just went through your 2nd Saturn return. Or you're going through it, basically. We have one Saturn return when we turn 29, and then we have another one when we turn, when we're 59 into 60. Because Saturn basically it takes 29 to 30 years for Saturn to come back to the same spot it was in. So you were born with Saturn in Capricorn and Jupiter in Capricorn. So you're actually going to go through your another Jupiter return as well soon. This is kind of a major theme. It's all happening in your 4th house of the home, though. These are like major shifts in your home, like what life, home looks like, family. Literally inside the place that you live. It's like the way that you used to do things at home is totally changing. You're gonna do things completely differently, because you're gonna desire that like shift, that change. So this is literally transforming your house of the home. And you were born with Saturn in Capricorn, which means that you take your home seriously. You can be a little bit authoritarian when it comes to like who controls the house, right? It's almost like you have the authority. You're also very ambitious when it comes to matters of the house. But going through these major shifts, and not only that, but the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, it's all happening in Capricorn, and you were born with those same kind of placements. This is a big, big theme. Are you feeling those kind of shifts in your life? Because I would be curious, because this is kind of interesting. But your 4th house is going through a big shift, which is the house of the home, and then your 7th house of relationships. So you're going through big shifts when it comes to your home life, and you're going through big shifts when it comes to your relationships. And you're going to find new friendships, new relationships. Hey there, it'll be so different. Your life is going to look so different in the next couple of years. But it's a good change. It's a good shift, because we are all transitioning. And that's what I see. That is jumping out at me. Yes, you are a Libra rising. Trying to see if there's anything else. I think right now you might be having a little bit of trouble communicating, because you got Mercury's conjunct your south node in Aquarius, and it might just feel a little bit difficult to communicate right now. But Mercury is going to, he travels really fast. So he's going to go into Pisces next, and then continue, rolling down the road. So that's just kind of more of a temporary thing that you might be feeling right now. I think that's all that I want to talk about for you, because those are also two big things that are happening for you. Remember, relationships are transitioning and your home life is changing majorly. Hey, Ruth. Welcome in. Okay, so let's see who's next. We've got Lindsay. Did you decide what you want, Lindsay? Thank you, Janice. I appreciate it. I gotta stand up and stretch. No more of this sitting there for like 5 hours, and I'm just gonna stand up for a minute. Let's do transit. Okay, I like it. So I'm going to lift this up a little bit so you can see me better, and I can just stand. And let's pull your information up. Okay, Lindsay. You were born October 11th, 1985, 8:45 a.m. I was born at 8:45 a.m. too. Dallas. You're welcome. Okay. Well, you've got a grand square. You also have a Virgo stellium and a Scorpio stellium. I do remember talking about your natal chart. Let's add the transits and see what we got. Okay, let's take a picture. And transition. I can't wait to get my new iPad. Okay, so this is your chart, Lindsay, and these are the transits. So let's see what we got. I do notice that you have a Virgo stellium in the 11th house. It means that this is your house of friendships, and it is the moon, Mars, and Venus. So a stellium is basically just represents 3 or more planets that are in the same sign next to each other. You've got a stellium in Virgo, and then the other one is in Scorpio over here. You also got Saturn in Scorpio in the first house, which is interesting. So Virgo stellium is, Virgo energy in your 11th house. Friendships. So this is I think you're probably very loving when it comes to friendships, and you like to look at the details of things. Your emotions are also very grounded, but you have to just be careful, because when you have a lot of Virgo energies, you have to just be careful to not get too overcritical of yourself and other people. Now, the Scorpio stellium is actually, it's different, because it's the north node, it's Pluto, it's Mercury, and then actually the sun is right there, although your sun's in Libra, and you also are a Scorpio rising. So the Scorpio energy brings in the intensity. It's interesting, because if you have a south node Taurus, that means that in a past life, what you've already experienced is stability. And what you're experiencing now in this life is more in-depth experiences, because you don't only just have the North Node in Virgo. You got Pluto right there, who is the planet of transformation and change, like death, change, transformation, and rebirth. So he is like intensifying your in this lifetime, your destiny is to really go deep and heal like deep, deep wounds and somehow find the balance after that. If we look at what's going on in your 7th house of relationships, that means that relationships are changing, because just like the chart we just read, you've got Uranus and Venus transiting your 7th house of relationships, and your 7th house is Taurus, which means you like stability in relationships. However, Uranus brings in that newness. So relationships are transforming, but this is also a really beautiful time to be in relationship with someone, to connect with someone in a more, grounded, stable, no drama, right? You Scorpio is drama, Taurus is stability. If you think about the dualities, right? So this means that you could literally be attracted, you might actually be attracted to someone who's a Taurus, because opposites attract. So you've got like Scorpio is how you express yourself. It's like how it's your destiny. You've got the North Node connected there in your chart. And so you are like this very deep, you have this very deep energy, and you also like think in Scorpio ways because Mercury is in Scorpio in your chart. So you want to like dive deep into stuff. That could be a little intense for people. So how can you balance that energy, that all that Scorpio energy? You have to go a little bit more towards stability. But don't forget that part of your life is to have this, intense experience of life, death, rebirth, so that you can transcend and move forward towards destiny. So the only way that you're going to be able, plus Pluto is in your 1st house. So this is Pluto's trend, is he's like, he changes you. And you actually feel like, you probably feel like you have a lot of power. There's a lot of power there, and you're a very serious person because you also have Saturn in your 1st house. So all of those things have to balance themselves out, and you have to look at the opposite side, which is that Taurus energy. So right now your relationships are shifting. So the way that you behave, like you're in relationship with other people, is completely changing, which is a really good thing. It's like refreshing right now. So enjoy that Venus transiting your 7th house of relationships. They're probably going to feel really good. Now the other house that's major is the 3rd house of communication, and that's where all the Capricorn stuff is. So that's, Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, all those conjunctions that happened, they've been transiting your 3rd house. So this has to do with the way you communicate to other people. This has to do with how you express yourself. You are sort of kind of very meticulous when you want to express yourself to other people. You do want to be clear, and you do take your time, and that's really good. But right now, this whole, the way that you used to communicate is changing. The old ways of communicating are dying, and you're having to find new ways to communicate. So all of those old structures, you're letting go. So look for a new creative way to express yourself, like vocally, like with the throat chakra, in relationships, and see how that starts to, like, that's gonna sort of catapult you forward right now. And that's like the major stuff that I see in your chart. Good morning, Sash. Welcome in. Oh, thanks. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight into what's kind of going on for you in your life. Big changes, but also this like Venus in Taurus that's the key right there. Enjoy that transit. It's going to be like about a month or so. Just enjoy being in that space. Okay. And I hope that that helps you out a little bit. And then we've got Deidre. Good. Yeah. The astrology doesn't lie, you guys. Think about all the crazy things that are going on in the world right now. It's insanity. And the astrology predicted it. We didn't know exactly how it was going to happen, but like we knew it was going to happen, and it's happening. Things are changing, things are shifting, like massive. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, so let's look at your natal chart. Deidre. How exciting. Okay. Chiron or whatever else. Okay. 6477. Time is 2:35 p.m. Seattle. Oh, that's true, Wendy. You're right. That's good. All right, so let's show you your chart. This is going to be fun. Okay. So let's see what we got. Sun in Gemini. Ooh, dude. You were born with Sun conjunct Jupiter. Sun, Jupiter. You're born on a Sun, Jupiter day. That is crazy. You know what this means? In your freaking 9th house? Dude, Jupiter rules the 9th house of spiritual integration. He also rules Sagittarius, which is your 3rd house of communication. Which you have Neptune there, which is like the divine, the spiritual. I mean, this is really cool. So people that are born on Sun Jupiter days are like, they have this, like, it's almost like they're lucky. Like luck follows them around. You're also the eternal optimist. And when it comes to spirituality, you have to have some kind of spiritual path. It's your identity. You have to have it or you feel lost with the sun in the 9th house. Let's see the nodes. North node in Libra. Pluto in Libra in the 1st house. So North node in Libra, but also in the 1st house of Aries. And South node in Aries in the 7th house of relationships. See, that's interesting right there, because they're opposites. Like you've got Libra rising. So your 1st house is Libra. And so that means that at the opposite side, you're going to have Aries in your 7th house. So you're a very balanced person. Like balance is important to you. You like to look at both sides of the story. With Pluto in Libra in your 1st house, you actually are a really good psychologist, because you're able to help people talk through their issues and find and understand it in a more balanced way. You love, like, that's like, the whole Libra energy. You're like, you have to look at all of it. You have to look at both sides, and then you can understand it. So you're really good at doing that because you have Pluto in your 1st house of your identity. It's who you are. But then you have, as a North node, the universe or your destiny is to well, let's start with the South Node. So South Node in Aries means in a past life, you were very independent. And you understand that. You understand that independence. You understand doing things on your own. You actually prefer to do things on your own. However, that's the energy that you have to move away from in this life. And you have to go towards your North Node in Libra, which is about relationships. So it's interesting. This is a very interesting dynamic. And this also means that having Aries at the cusp of your 7th house means that in your relationships, you are like you're impulsive. And this can be a romantic or like business relationship. There's like an impulsiveness, but there's also this ability to initiate, like you initiate things when it comes to relationships. Now let's look at Chiron, which is the one that you really wanted to look at. Chiron is in Taurus, in your 8th house of death, change, transformation, and like other people's money. Chiron in Taurus is the theme of your life of healing. It's like you have to figure out what is it that you value in life. There's a crisis over what is of value or what you value. So this could be a value system, like a belief system. This could literally be like material things. This is your relationship with the physical world. And so until you figure out what it is that you truly value, you will not feel like fulfilled in life. It's very important that you figure that out for yourself. That's the journey that you're on. You also have Venus in Aries, which is, again, it likes to have fun. Venus in Aries loves to have fun. It's the initiator. But the other end of it can be like really impulsive, you know. That's the major stuff that I see. 11th house, Saturn in Leo, in the 11th house. You have this in, you know, when it comes to friends and friendships, you have this sort of like authority. Like people look up to you as a friend because they feel safe with you. They feel safe like telling you their things, especially because of that Pluto in Libra. You're like the natural psychologist. So in the realm of friendships, you hold this energy of like a leader, someone who is stable and responsible and cares about their friends, but also is almost like this king or queen. And so people will look up to you as a friend. And I think that's what stands out to me from your chart. You also have a lot of Taurus and Aries in your chart. You have like a pretty good balance of all the elements: air, water, earth, and fire. Yep, that's what comes out. There's a bunch of conjunctions there and stuff, but those are like way more detailed. You were actually born, this is interesting. You were actually born with Mars in Aries, also in the 8th house. It is also conjunct Chiron, but Mars in Aries at 29 degrees. So Mars rules Aries. So this is a very masculine, and at the last degrees, it's like you came in like freaking charging. That's kind of what this is. It's like you came charging forward into the world. You've got a very powerful thing to give to the world, so you came in like flying. And if I looked at it more closely, would figure out exactly what that entails with all of the stuff here, all those conjunctions. South Node, Venus, Mars, Chiron, all of that. So cool. Awesome. All right, Julene, my dear, you are next. What kind of a reading did you want me to do for you? And if you guys want to get on the list, you can. I should actually check PayPal while Julene is putting up her question. And I'm here every Friday, you guys. That's something that I'm like so excited about. And if you didn't hear my announcement in the beginning, I'm going to be doing a special spring 2020 webinar on March 28th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be like 2 hours long, and we're going to talk about the next 3 months. You can click the link in the description of the video to get more information and to sign up. It's only going to be $15, you guys. $15. We're gonna talk about the next 3 months, and I'm gonna talk about also how this is gonna affect the next 3 months, the theme for you based on your sun sign and your rising sign. Like, we're gonna get into some deep astrology. I'm so excited about it. It is the beginning of the astrological new year, so that's a huge thing happening. And then the other announcement was that I'm going to do a monthly raffle or a monthly giveaway. Everyone that gets a reading on Friday evenings, their name will go in the in a jar. And then at the beginning of the next month, I'll do the reading. And if you got a reading from me that previous month, then your name will be in the raffle in the giveaway. And I'll give away like a free reading. It'll be different every month. It'll be tarot or astrology or transit reading. It's going to be like that. So it's going to be fun. How are you guys doing tonight? By the way, if we can do a little check-in. We can look at Juno and Lilith in your chart, Julene. I should have your chart saved. So let me just take a look and see if I still have it in here. It's whichever you want. You let me know which one you want. Juno is the asteroid of marriage or relationships, and Black Moon Lilith is there's actually let's just look at your chart, because this is actually interesting. We're going to look at your chart. I just decided. So here's your chart. And here's Juno. And here's Black Moon Lilith. Now, this is significant because what Juno represents, she's the asteroid of marriage. And basically, in your chart, she tells you what's going to be the best combination, or when you come together with someone for a serious committed relationship, Juno tells you what's going to be that best combination. So let's look at what sign Juno is in your chart. The sign is Aquarius. So when it comes to marriage, twin flame, soulmate relationship, you might actually literally feel really good with someone who's actually an Aquarius, or you might feel really good with someone who is able to intellectually activate you, where you can have conversations that are like where you discuss things about the world. and humanity, and you're curious and you want to, discover new things. The relationship might not be, you might not be, someone who is like too emotional might not do it for you. That kind of thing. But someone who can actually activate your mind, you're going to feel really good about that. And it's going to be a relationship that is spiritual in nature, because Juno is in your 9th house of spiritual integration. So the relationship has to be with someone where the connection is a spiritual connection, a very deep spiritual connection, where you might even, you will look to the future together. That will be something really powerful. And with Black Moon Lilith, now she represents something totally different. So this actually, there's something like spicy in this chart, interestingly enough. Black Moon Lilith is more of like the Kali energy. She is sort of like the bad girl. She is like our inner desires that want to come out and play, and she doesn't care about the rules. She just kind of goes and does whatever she wants. You actually, and it's actually that our sexual desire is actually represented by Black Moon Lilith, because that like free energy is like, that's where our deepest desires can be expressed. All right, got you, Jamie. And so having your in Capricorn, it's interesting because Capricorn is like, it's not that energy of freedom. Capricorn can really take its time accomplishing something. So she's almost like Black Moon Lilith in your chart, in Capricorn is in the 7th house of relationships, gives your, whatever relationship you have, it's almost like you actually require some kind of independence to do things on your own and to take your time doing them. So what she wants her freedom to do the things that are important for her. And she's got goals that she's going to go accomplish. So if the relationship interferes with those goals, it's not going to work. Basically what that means. Does that give you some insight? And they represent different things. It's almost like when you find, I don't know if you're in a relationship now, but when you find that person that you're supposed to like be with, they probably most likely will be able to give you that freedom that you need. Because Aquarius, they're not attached people. They're not like enmeshed. They're more like little detached, but still there and present. But it's easier to have independence with someone who's in Aquarius because they value that. Because they value that for themselves. So I don't know, I see some cool stuff here. I see some pretty fun stuff. So I hope that kind of gives you a little bit of guidance in your relationship realm. And remember, we kind of did cover this in your reading with the Venus in Gemini is also like the mental activation. Maybe a little too much with Aries. Yeah, Aries is the major freedom. You actually, what's Aries for you? Aries is your 11th house of friends. That has more to do with like your Aries energy is more to do with your friendships, and it has to do with your love, like romantic relationships. Okay. Thank you, Julene. So Jamie, what kind of reading would you like me to do? You want me to look at your natal chart, or do a transit reading, or pull some tarot and oracle cards? And remember, when you sign up for a reading, you're going on the raffle or the giveaway. I hope you guys are having a really good Friday night, you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me on a Friday night. I really, seriously appreciate that. And please check out the webinar. It's going to happen March 28th. It's only going to be $15. I think it's going to be amazing. Off the charts. Literally off the charts. Okay, so I'm going to need the day that you were born, the exact time that you were born, and the location, city, and state. We got 2 more spots for readings. I can do 2 more readings tonight if somebody wants one. And let's pull this. Thank you, Wendy and Deidre, and whoever else is here. Shannon was here for a little bit, for being here and helping to moderate in the chats. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, this is really fun. It's almost like we're getting to know each other, because astrology is so personal. Astrology doesn't lie. So when we look at your natal chart, it's almost like we're all getting to know each other. It's really cool. And there is so much that you can look at in your chart, you guys. It is beyond crazy how much detail you can get from. You can spend literally a whole hour just talking about Juno and Black Moon Lilith, and all the things, all the aspects that are making to all the other planets in your chart. I know, right? It's going well so far. And Jennifer just got on the list as well. Thank you. All right, 5/14/1980. 5:05 a.m. And what do you want to know? You want me to just look at your natal chart? Have you ever gotten a natal chart reading? If you haven't, it's probably best if I just kind of look at your natal chart. Although, if you would rather me do a transit reading, I can do that as well. Orange County. The name of the city is literally Orange. I did not know that. What? Hey, Lavish Lizards. Crystal, welcome in. All right, so let me make sure I got this right. May 14th, 1980 at 5:05 a.m. in Orange, California. Yeah, Googling, you don't really know what you get. You can get random-ish. So you want a transit reading? Okay. Surprise me. Okay, let me just take a look at it for a second. Let's just take a picture of this and put it up on the screen so we can all look at it together. Okay, so here is your chart, and then also the transit chart. So the first thing that I noticed that's pretty significant, you do have a lot of Taurus in your chart. Did you know you were born on a new moon? Like exactly on a new moon? Did you know that? You were born not just on a new moon, you were born on a freaking new moon in Taurus, which the moon is exalted in Taurus. So that's powerful energy. It's almost like your whole life is marked by the new moon energy, which is a new beginning, right? An intention that is like something that it's like you are the intention. The universe the universe birthed a baby. The new moon birthed a baby, like set their intention, and it was you. That's really powerful. Like, it's funny, but it's like it's really cool. That's really amazing. Plus it's all in your first house, and you're also a Taurus rising, so I'm sure you can also be very stubborn sometimes, but I think that you have this like power to like manifest, and you are probably a very like chill person. Venus is transiting your first house right now, so that's like adorn yourself. Venus rules Taurus, and with all this Taurus energy that you have in your chart, all this like earth energy, right now is a really good time for you to like love yourself, like pamper yourself for this next month or so. Just like do the things that you love, do the things that make you feel good. Yes, I'm sure you are. Let's see what else jumps out at me. Right now, although right now, the moon is conjunct Uranus, your Uranus. The moon in Scorpio right now is conjunct your Uranus. By the way, you guys, the moon is in Scorpio, so like if you're feeling intense, like I don't know, this intensity, that's what it is. I've been kind of feeling it. It's kind of crazy. But that means that like your emotions are a little bit unpredictable right now, especially when it comes to in your relationship. So just kind of like take it easy. Take it easy on people right now. All right, let's see. North Node Leo in the 5th house. That's really cool. South Node Aquarius in the 11th. Leo rules the 5th house. So you have come to this world to love. You've come to this world to like shine, to be yourself. So stop hiding. Stop hiding. North Node is also conjunct Jupiter, which brings in this optimism. With Mars right there too, optimism and drive. Let's talk about these guys transiting your 9th and 10th house of the 9th is spiritual integration, and the 10th is your career. So basically, let's look at your career house, because that's actually, I think, more significant. Pluto Pluto and Jupiter are going to conjunct at 24 degrees, but once Jupiter goes into 24 degrees, he's going to enter your 10th house of career. There's big shifts coming for you in the realm of career. And the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction also happened in your career house, which means that whatever you might have been doing before in your life, it also means you are very ambitious when it comes to career because you have Capricorn at the cusp of the 10th house, which it rules. But whatever you were doing in your past when it comes to career, that has stopped. You might even desire to do something different, which is kind of probably difficult for Capricorn to kind of change gears in the middle. But that's going to change, and you will embark on like a whole new career path. That's what I'm seeing for you for this next year or so. Like new path. Let's see what else stands out. I mean, that's pretty much what I'm seeing that stands out. You were born with Chiron and Taurus, so you also have that. You need to find what's of value to you in your life. The crisis of identity is you have to figure out what you value the most. If you don't have that value system figured out, you will feel a little bit lost in your life. Awesome. Love it. Very cool. So as long as you're open to the change, you're going to be going on the right direction. Plus, with all that Taurus energy and with the new moon, you were born on a new moon, that means that you have the power to manifest. You've this strong power to manifest in your life. So take advantage of that. All right, Jennifer is next. Let me see who else signed up. So Jennifer. So let me know what you want to ask Jennifer, and if you want me to do astrology, make sure you send me all the information of your birthday. Thank you, Jamie. Capricorn Sun. You're welcome. Virgo Moon, Libra Rising. We can definitely do some tarot cards for you. What's going on, or what's next? Okay, so give me a second. Okay, what does Jennifer need to know right now? What's coming next for Jennifer in her life, and what advice does she need to hear right now? I know, right, Deidre? I was just thinking that. A lot of Libra energy tonight. And then I think almost everyone that got tarot got the Ace of Crystals. That's so interesting to me. All right, what do we got? What do we got? So weird. Okay, no, hang on. Just need to double check a couple things. Okay. So let's show you what we got. The first card we got is the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is like the knight in shining armor. He comes in with a gift. He comes in with a full cup. This can symbolize like a romantic relationship that's coming up. It can symbolize someone showing up into your life, like helping you to see the things that are the most important and showing you that your cup is full. It's like the messenger comes and says, hey, your cup is full. Don't forget. Don't forget this. However, I think that right now you might be struggling a little bit. You get the Universe card. And to me, what I feel in this card is I feel you wanting to connect. This person is meditating and their crown chakra is activated. So you're seeking answers right now. Your higher self is seeking the answers. But what's holding you back is the Four of Cups, which is focusing on the negative. Focusing on the things that are wrong instead of everything that's beautiful in your life, right? Focusing on, it's almost like the cup is half empty instead of the cup is half full. It's the way that you're looking at things in your life that is holding you back from fully seeing that your cup is actually full. Because there are things in your life that you've experienced that have been very hurtful, very painful, and that you need to walk away from. With the Ten of Swords, this is like beating the dead horse. So what's done, it's done, and it's time to go now. And this is a beginning of a new phase. Unless you let those experiences, those hurts, those traumas, that pain go, you're going to continue to feel, you're going to continue to kind of focus on what's wrong instead of what's right in your life. It's time for you to embark on a new journey. This is a journey of studying. This is a journey of discovery. This is the journey of the scholar, the Page of Crystals. This is a card of education, so it could possibly mean that you're going to start some kind of new educational, hey Rebecca, cycle. Maybe you're going to go back to school. Maybe going back to school is something that excites you. If you've been thinking about it, this is confirmation that yes, do it. Because when you do that, what's going to happen is you're going to start a new phase of creating more abundance in your life with the Ace of Pentacles or the Ace of Crystals. So the grief, the Five of Cups comes next. So the grief that you are feeling is because of those things that you haven't let go. But the grief is an important part of the release. The grief is an important part of the transmuting and processing. So you have to give yourself time to mourn what you've moved on from, because you also get the Four of Swords, and this is like, take a break. Just stop and give yourself time. Take a break. The Four of Swords is literally like, go to sleep. Go take a nap. No school, intuition high, studying crystals, meditation, astrology. Ooh, I love that. But yes, this is a time for you to like take a break. So this moment in your life, what's important about it is that you're actually getting the time that you need to rest, take care of yourself. Self-care is the Four of Swords, so that you can refresh and renew yourself, so that you can like hit the ground running when you awaken back up. What's Crystal's meditation astrology? That's I'm really curious about that. So we're gonna pull some Moonology cards for you. This is like the advice cards, and it helps you deal with any emotions that might be coming up for you right now during your transition. Yeah, this is like an exciting reading. I mean, it's a positive reading. It's just pointing out a couple of things that need to be kind of addressed, you know? If you're kind of overdoing it, you got to take a break. So what other advice does Jennifer need to hear right now? Thank you. Okay, here they are. Prosperity lies ahead. New moon in Taurus. Well, then you need to sleep more. Prosperity lies ahead. Your hard work is paying off. New moon in Capricorn. I can tell you've been sleeping. You've been working really hard. And full moon in Virgo, you are good enough. You are good enough. That one's my favorite. So I hope that that's resonated with you and gave you some guidance in your life. All right, you guys. I think, unless anybody else signed up, I think I'm going to sign off. Let's see. Let's look at the schedule for next week so I can give you guys... If you haven't signed up for my newsletter, please do, because I send out a weekly moon magic report. And next week, I'm actually going to also send a special Saturn enters Aquarius transit email, letting you know where Saturn in Aquarius is going to be transiting in your chart and what that's going to mean for you based on your sun sign and your rising sign. Awesome, Jennifer. I love that. The raffle is going to happen at the end of the month. And we're going to take all the names from all the people that have gotten readings on Friday nights. And we're going to pull one name every month for a free reading. And it'll either be tarot or astrology. I'll change it up every month. So that's definitely happening. So next week I will go live again on Friday for readings, and I'm also going to upload a Saturn in Aquarius pick a card reading next Saturday. So that's what's coming up. And then, believe it or not, right after that, we're already at the full moon. At the new moon in Aries. And remember that next week on the 19th is the spring equinox. It is when the spring officially begins. So I am super excited for what's coming ahead. And I really hope that you connect with me. I really hope that you also sign up for the webinar that will be happening on the 28th. The link is in the description of the video. It's only $15 to sign up for the webinar. It's going to be about 2 hours full, jam-packed with information. So click the link to get more info. But there's like a ton of retrogrades coming up. The nodes are switching signs. We've got Jupiter-Pluto conjunctions. We've got the new year starting. It's massive. You're welcome. Yes. And the new moon in Aries begins the new year. basically. So super excited about that. Thank you guys so much for being here with me tonight. I really appreciate your support. Thank you, Wendy, for moderating, and Deidre as well, and for everyone else that was here, and thank you everyone that signed up for a reading. You can always come back and watch your the replay of your reading if you'd like to. It'll be there available for you guys. And have an awesome freaking weekend. Satnam.